Houston, let's go. Woo! Hey, up on your feet, everybody. Let's go. Hey. Let's go. Hey. Everybody clap your...
Houston, Texas, welcome to your 2022 State of the City, a bridge to the future. I am your guide today, the Trill OG, Bun B, repping UGK for life. We are here to celebrate the greatest city in America. As a matter of fact, the greatest city in the world and the greatest mayor in the world, our own Mayor Sylvester Turner. Make some noise today. If you came to celebrate Houston like the spirit of Houston Gumline and Marquise and the choir today, put your H's in the air one time.
Let's
Everybody
go, y'all.
put your H's up. Come on.
H-O-U-S-T-O-N.
No matter where you been, no matter where you go, Houston is the best. You already know. Come on. No matter where you been, no matter where you go, Houston is the best. You already know. Let's go. It's on you, guys.
Need y'all to help me snap. Y'all ready to move with me? Here's a move right here. Gonna make a change for once in my life. Hey! Woo! It's gonna feel real good. Gonna make a difference. Gonna make it right. Come on, choir, let's sing it for him. Hey, I'm starting with the man in the mirror. Hey, yep. I'm asking him to change his way. Come on. No message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself. Come on, Houston, clap your hands out. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. Oh, yeah. I'm asking him to change his way. Come on, no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself. Let's take it up, y'all. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. Oh, yeah. I'm asking him to change his way. Hey, no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make a change. Come on, I'm starting with the man. Oh yeah, I'm asking him to change his ways. No message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make that change. Waiting up and down the boulevard, searching in the night. Come on, y'all know this song. Everybody say street lights, street people. Come on, living just to find you. Come on, hiding somewhere in the night. Come on, sing it again, y'all. Come on, say stranger, waiting. Hey, come on, say up and down the boulevard. Shadow, searching in the night. Come on, y'all, say street lights, people. Come on, y'all, say living just to find hiding somewhere. Hey, let's go, y'all. Let's go, say don't stop believing. Hey. Believe it. Come on, Houston, hold on to that feeling. Street lights, people. Say don't stop, believe it. Hey, come on, y'all, say hold on to that feeling. Street lights, people. Say don't stop believing. Believe it. Hey, say hold on to that feeling. Street light, People. Yeah. Hey, break that music. Come on. Say, don't stop. Believe it. Say, hold on to that feeling. Street lights. People. I want to hear the drums. Come on. Don't stop. Believe it. Don't believe it. Hey. Say, hold on. Street light. People. Houston, we want to encourage you. Come on. Say, don't stop. Believe it. Say, don't stop. Believe it. It's going to be a great year. Believe it. One more time. Don't stop. Believe it.
Please welcome David Mintzberg, Chairman of the Board of Directors, Houston First Corporation.
How's that for an opening? Bun B with the Spirit of Houston Cougar Marching Band, the North Houston Children's Chorus, and Marquise Taylor and the Houston City Ensemble. Please, a round of applause. What an incredible opening. As chair of the board of Houston First Corporation, the destination marketing organization for the city of Houston, and the host of Mayor Turner's 1,600-person sold-out State of the City luncheon, welcome. And while they will be formally introduced later in the program, a major shout-out to today's very, very successful co-chairs, Cindy Clifford and my board colleague, Elizabeth Brock. Please join me in standing for the presentation of colors by the Houston Police Department Honor Guard, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance and the national anthem led by the North Houston Children's Chorus, and then please remain standing for the invocation by Pastor Joel Osteen of Lakewood Church.
Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the
Great to be with you today. We'll say an opening prayer. Lord, thank you for this day that you've given us to be alive. Thank you for a great city to live in. Lord, we recognize everything good comes from you. And Lord, we just pray blessings upon our city today, and all the citizens. Mayor Turner, Lord, we thank you for giving him and the leadership wisdom and just your protection, your favor, your goodness. And Lord, that Houston will continue to shine brightly. That, Lord, you're filling us with favor, with wisdom, with your goodness. And Lord, that we will be blessings wherever we go. So, Lord, we commit this day into your hands. We thank you for life and health and freedom. And we just speak blessings over all the people here and all the people in our great city. In Jesus' name, amen, amen. God bless you today.
Please be seated. Thank you to the HPD Honor Guard, to the North Houston Children's Chorus for helping to get our program off to a great start. And thank you, Pastor Osteen, for today's invocation, and even more, Pastor, for all you do for our community. How great to be together again at the State of the City, and my, what a difference a year makes. Mayor Turner appointed me chair almost 7 years ago, and he gave me a very simple directive. David, I want you to market Houston. What he forgot to mention to me at that time was the upcoming and forthcoming 10 plagues that descended upon us. What the mayor didn't forget, though, was his role. From speaking to leaders of prospective conventions, to going all the way to promote Houston in Japan, from where he's just returned. Houston, we have no better representative. No, we have no better marketer than Mayor Sylvester Turner. Please give it up for him. Standing with him are my colleagues, the appointed and community-minded board of Houston First Corporation. Please hold your applause. I'm going to call them out, and I'd like to ask each of them to stand, and then if you'd recognize them all as a group. Starting with my Vice Chair, Desiree Morgan, Sophia Androge, Elizabeth Gonzalez-Brock, Nikki Keenan, Reggie Martin, Ryan Martin, Councilmember Dave Martin. Yes, they all have the same last name. You can hardly tell them apart on the board. Paul Puente, Tom Segesta, Bobby Singh, Gerald Womack, Jay Zeidman, and also Councilmember Robert Gallegos. Please recognize them for their work. And we, the board, only look good because of the outstanding and talented team at Houston First Corporation. And you'll be hearing shortly from our CEO, who will talk more specifically about the job and role that we play in our community. Our group of dedicated professionals work tirelessly developing and executing strategies to sell and market Houston, ensuring we not only remain competitive, but we break tourism records. And we're on a path to breaking the tourism records that we set pre-pandemic. Houston First is back, Houston is back, tourism is back, and 25 million people will be here next year to see us in action. Houston First sells, markets, promotes Houston. We do it locally, we do it in the state, we do it nationally, and with the help of Mayor Turner, we do it internationally. We do so by capitalizing on the best Houston has to offer, from our city's rich diversity of cultures to our innovative talents from every sector: business, science, medicine, entertainment, the arts, and did I say sports? The hospitality and travel industry, known as the visitor economy, is the 6th largest economic industry in our city. That means billions of dollars annually, and perhaps most critically, thousands and thousands of jobs from one end of this city, from one end of this county, from one end of this region to the other. And that's a pretty big deal. And now, I'd like to introduce the President and CEO of the dynamic Houston First team, an individual with leadership, vision, and commitment to our city. Please join me in welcoming Houston First CEO, Michael Heckman. Michael.
David, thank you for such a kind introduction, and let me thank you for your outstanding leadership you have provided for the Board of Directors over the past 6.5 years, but not only that, for your friendship. Good afternoon, everyone, and my gosh, like David said, what a great turnout. It truly is an honor for Houston First to be able to host this event again this year as Mayor Turner lays out his vision for our city. As David said, it's been quite a year since we were here last. The vibrancy, energy, and momentum in Houston are evident everywhere, and people are noticing. In fact, this year, Houston once again garnered global attention by the authoritative America's Best Cities report as one of the best places to live, work, invest, and of course, visit. Houston advanced 6 spots to number 11 among 100 cities. And don't tell our friends to the north, but we were the top-ranking city in the state of Texas. The headline for the ranking read, "Houston, America's stealthy powerhouse on the rise." You'll see some of the reasons from the report on the screen behind me, including economic might, restaurants, culture, foreign-born population, just to name a few. Indeed, Houston is a stealthy powerhouse. But as a city always in motion, we are not resting on our laurels as there is still work to be done. Telling Houston's story is part of that work. For more than a year, at the direction of Mayor Turner, Houston First has led an ambitious brand unification effort in Houston. I want to be clear, I'm not talking about creating a tagline. What I am talking about is authentically communicating Houston's DNA, our brand essence, by unifying that brand across all industries: tourism, economic development, business, entertainment, sports, lifestyle, and more. We sought to frame our challenge and understand what makes Houston unique by defining key characteristics and differentiators. Our thorough research studied perception, performance, and aspiration. Houston's performance against 15 peer metro cities across 6 categories: place, promotion, product, programming, prosperity, and of course our people. Perception from residents, talent, and investors. And finally, aspiration from Houston business, community, and cultural leaders. What we determined is something that I think all of us in this room know. Houston's greatest strength is our people. And in the end, we uncovered 3 foundational brand truths. Houston is a tapestry of culture whose whole is greater than the sum of its parts. In Houston, people can be themselves, and they can build a future of their own. Houston empowers people to succeed. Our community collaborates to build a shared future and a better city. Those are powerful truths, and they are highly attractive and inclusive. We all celebrate Houston's diversity. The magic of Houston is how our diversity makes us stronger and how our plurality of communities work so well together. That is what makes Houston special. I've been pleased that we have worked very closely with the Greater Houston Partnership and many other community organizations to align this brand messaging. More voices make our message stronger. So, over the next year, we will deploy a robust plan to reach throughout our community, to companies, organizations, and to all of those that are part of telling Houston's story. We will provide the tools, messaging, and research that can help your company or your organization become an even stronger ambassador for Houston. I think the people in this room, all of us, know that Houston is the best city in the world. Now we just need to make sure that the rest of the world knows that. Under the leadership of Mayor Turner, helping build that future is what we do at Houston First. So, in support of that objective, next year, Houston First will create and develop a 10-year destination development plan that will chart a vision and a framework for how we can become an even more attractive place to visit or to live, and how we can compete even more effectively with the best cities in the world. This process will be inclusive and comprehensive. And next year at this time, we'll be able to discuss those results, and I anticipate they will be a roadmap that is intended to push boundaries and establish visionary goals that amplify and build upon our strength as a destination. As you can tell, me and all of my colleagues at Houston First are enormously optimistic and passionate about our city and its future, and we look forward to working with all of you to build a better future. Now, I have the privilege of introducing today's event co-chairs. As you heard David say earlier, today's event is sold out. 1,600 person capacity crowd, which is even larger than last year's and the largest State of the City address in city history. This is a testament, first, to Mayor Turner and the energy and enthusiasm for Houston that he generates. It's also because for the second consecutive year, we've had the fortune to work with outstanding event co-chairs in Elizabeth Brock and Cindy Clifford. As many of you know, Elizabeth is the Vice President of Energy Solutions and Business Services for CenterPoint Energy, and Cindy is the President of the Clifford Group. Not only has our HFC team had the pleasure of working with them, but I have had the personal pleasure of working with each one of them to prepare for today. And I couldn't be more grateful for their work and the time that they have committed and put in to make today such a success. Now, please join me in welcoming to the stage Elizabeth Brock and Cindy Clifford.
Good afternoon. When Mayor Turner asked Elizabeth and me last year to co-chair this event, we had about 65 days and we were daunted. But we did what we always do. We made a list and we got on the phone and we called all of you and you answered. We had 1,400 people here last year, and this year there are more than 1,600. Like Michael said, it is because of Mayor Turner, and you all responded with great, yes, of course I'll be there, of course we'll be sponsors. So when the mayor asked Elizabeth and I again to chair this, we looked at each other like, oh no. And we are very, very honored that he did, and that he gave us Houston First, who is an amazing organization led by David and Michael and their incredible team. This is only the second year that it's been done under that umbrella of Houston First. And I want to thank right now, it would not be possible without our amazing sponsors. I want to thank our top 2 categories of sponsors now. I cannot thank everybody who's a sponsor because we'd be here all afternoon. But the presenting sponsors are CenterPoint Energy, Greater Houston Convention and Visitors Bureau, and for our platinum sponsors, American First National Bank, Cigna, Citgo, Comcast, our good friends at Kelsey-Seybold, the ever amazing Kinder Foundation, the Port of Houston, Quanta, S&B Infrastructure, Shell, and the folks who want to bring gaming to Texas, Texas Destination Resort Alliance. And last but never least, Union Pacific. I'd like to take a moment of special privilege to thank 3 people at Houston First who were Elizabeth and my everything. First, Paul Casso, Steve Miller, and Todd Holloman. They are pros. Thank you. Elizabeth?
Thank you. First of all, I want to start by thanking Michael, David, and Cindy for your leadership and your friendship. As a board member, I could not be more proud of the work that Houston First is doing to make Houston a premier destination city. And as thought leaders in this room, it is our goal that you will leave here today and spread the word around the country and the world of the great things that are happening here in Houston. And on that note, can I get a Ghost Rose? And while I'm at it, I thought I'd take a moment of personal privilege and say, go Cougs. I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize my Centerpoint family that's here. These are the folks that are responsible for keeping your lights on. You may not realize it, but each person at Centerpoint has a storm assignment. And when there's an emergency, and most people are preparing their families at home, our employees have to leave their families to go help other families in need. And they don't get to return home until the power has been restored. So I did want to give them a quick shout out and say thank you for all you do. Once again, Cindy and I cannot thank you enough for making this not only a sold-out event, but just a huge family reunion. We can't imagine having done this with a better team than the Houston First team, so I want to say thank you to them. So now, if you'll please enjoy your lunch, and we'll be right back to begin the program. Thank you.
Please welcome Avalon Hogans, Houston Youth Poet Laureate.
Hello. Of mine. My heart beats along to the foot traffic of downtown. Sidewalks guide me to my potential. Skyscrapers point me to my limitless limits. I hold my head high because I'm H-Town bound. Our culture so influential, such a beautiful and diverse image. My city sparks hope. My city gives light. My city's my only home, locally made. My city's my birthright. I've seen fireworks out my window. I've imagined my own Afro-American dream. I've seen thunder out my window. I've watched flooded gloom drain back to gleam. Houston strong, we rebuilt our legacy. Brick by brick, we regenerated our home. The days were long and dark in Hurricane Harvey, but Houston hope doesn't drown, it floats. The days were long and dark last winter when Texas snow turned to power gone. But as the freeze froze over, we huddled in closer, leaning on our community to keep us powering on. Dressed to impress, my home is the most diverse in the nation. Beyonce blessed, my home is the heart of aspiration. But the arts is in the artist, and the food is in the cook. The singer is in the song, and the author is in the book. It's the people that make this place worth praising. It's the culture that makes this area so amazing. Who says you can't see stars in the city? They're coming down the highway, they're running through the park. Who says stars don't shine as bright in the city? In Houston, Space City nicknamed, we can see stars in the light and in the dark. Houston, we have a problem and our Houstonians can solve it. Home to the wisest and kindest you'll ever meet. Shout out to the first-gen students at Houston's amazing universities. Growing up and living in Houston has taught me so much about having pride, and I feel so proud to live under this skyline of mine. Thank you.
Please welcome back to the stage our event co-chairs, Elizabeth Gonzalez Brock and Cindy Clifford.
What about our Youth Poet Laureate? It's no surprise today that so many elected officials are here. Not only has Mayor Turner been the mayor for the past 7 years, he also served in the legislature, Texas legislature, for I think 26 years, where he rose to be the Speaker pro tem. Today, there are national or federal, state, and local officials with us. It would take me a long time to introduce them all, except I want to say that each one of them brings so much to this community. It's unbelievable the time and the effort that they take to make our city, our state, and our country better. If you are an elected official, will you please stand and be recognized? Thank you. Likewise, every day of the year, there are hundreds of volunteers who serve on the boards and commissions that Mayor Turner has appointed. From Houston First, the Sports Authority, and countless others. You make our city go round. We couldn't have a city that works as well as it does. If you are on a board or commission appointed by Mayor Turner, please stand. And lastly, I want to thank the mayor's team. They work so hard. If you are a member of Mayor Turner's staff, please stand. And lastly, I'd like to thank my good friend Mary Benton, who's with the mayor's staff, for helping Elizabeth and me with a lot of the program, pictures, animation, show. Thank you, Mary.
Now I have the distinct honor of introducing the man who needs absolutely no introduction. In fact, I'm pretty confident that our mayor has touched every single person in this room. He's either helped you in a time of need or he's celebrated a special occasion with you. Today, our mayor will give his State of the City address themed A Bridge to the Future. We will hear how the mayor and his administration have helped this community meet the needs of today and for decades to come in areas like energy, sustainability, and quality of life. Mayor Turner's leadership will help Houston prepare for potential big city challenges, all the while making Houston an even better place to live, work, and play. We are excited to have Mayor Turner share his incredible work and the accomplishments today. It'll be followed by a fireside chat with our special guest, award-winning journalist, Tom Cook. You see, Tom recently retired from an iconic 39-year career at ABC 13, making today's interview that much more special. So thank you, Tom. You know how the Astros have a walk-up song? Well, in this city, this mayor has a walk-up video.
Please welcome to the stage the Honorable Sylvester Turner, Mayor, City of Houston.
Thank you very much. Let me start off by thanking these two women, Cindy Clifford and Elizabeth Brock, for doing an amazing job. Give it up to these two women. And I certainly want to thank them. I've called on them many times, and they've always said yes. Paused for a second, but eventually I knew the answer was going to be yes. So I want to thank them. I want to thank Houston First for just doing an incredible job. To David and Michael, to the board members of Houston First, please give it up to Houston First. And then I certainly want to thank all of the table sponsors and those who have purchased tables and made this event possible. It's not about me. It's about the city of Houston. And for there to be 1,600 plus people here today and others who desired to come and couldn't because of the capacity, I want to thank each and every one. So give yourselves a hand this morning. Let me just hit on a few points before I sit down with Tom. And what I say today, quite frankly, is due to the 22,000 city employees that we have. I know I've got many of the city directors who are here, those who are in executive positions who are here. Nothing can be accomplished without them. I am fortunate to have roughly 22,000 dedicated and committed city employees who do an excellent job each and every day. I do want to start off and talk about public safety because there's been a lot of conversation about public safety. And let me just say, to put things in context, when I came in as mayor in January of 2016, Chief Pena, 38% of the roughly 5,200 police officers that we had were eligible to retire. More than 2,000 of those 5,200 were eligible to retire, 38%. Since then, since I've been mayor, we have hired 1,991 police officers. And we have reduced that 38% down to 29%. Every single year, the number of eligible police officers has been going down. We inherited a very aging police force. And to increase the number of police officers to be hired even more, starting this month, the incoming pay for cadets will increase by $10,000. Instead of making $42,000, they'll be making $52,000. In January of this year, crime, homicides were heading in the wrong direction. It was about 65% above last year. In February of this year, we put in place One Safe Houston. It's a $53 million program, all funded to all the congressional persons who are here by federal dollars. And I want you to know that One Safe Houston is working. Where we sit today, as of this morning, homicides in the city of Houston is down by 11% compared to last year. 45 fewer murders that have taken place in our city than last year. In almost every major category, crime is down from last year. And you may have heard that commercial on television that's been run that said Houston has more murders than Chicago. I want to stand before you here today to say that is just a flat out, well, that's wrong, that's false. If I wasn't a church-going person, I would put 2 words with that, but that's wrong. As of today, Chicago has more than 200 more murders than the city of Houston. So for anyone to say that Houston has more murders than Chicago is simply not telling the truth. So we are committed to public safety in the city of Houston, and we're moving in the right direction. In terms of housing and homelessness, our goal is to build 3,000 single-family homes by the end of next year, the end of my term, and we are moving in that direction at a rapid pace. Since 2012, when it relates to homelessness, the city of Houston has reduced homelessness by 63%. 30% of that while I have been mayor. And while I've been mayor, we have decommissioned 57 homeless encampments in the city of Houston. And starting this month, in a couple of weeks, we're going to be starting what we call Dinner to Housing. It is an initiative to retake the Central Library downtown and to restore that to a very family-oriented environment, not to lose that major asset. So we're going to start what we call Dinner to Housing. We're going to set up in the Reasoner area. We're going to be providing 100 meals a day, 4 times a week, to those who are homeless, primarily those who kind of situate themselves in front of the library, the main library downtown. It will be run by Bread of Life, Pastor Rudy Rasmus, and we'll set up tables and chairs. We'll treat people with dignity and respect. But it's not just about providing them a dinner. The goal is that we'll provide them with hot meals. We'll provide them with tables and chairs. But we'll also be there to provide them with permanent support housing because we want people off the street in a better environment. and I'm very excited about that initiative that will take place. With regards to energy transition and innovation, we are the energy capital of the world, and we are proud of that. But we seek to lead in energy transition. And I want you to know that this city, the city of Houston, the energy capital of the world, we purchase more renewables than any other city in the United States. We purchase more renewables than Los Angeles or LA or Chicago or New York City or Atlanta. All 550 municipal buildings in the city of Houston are powered by renewable energy, and we're proud of that. We are in process of engaging in our 30 by 30 initiative on the Evolve Houston, and that's 30% of our vehicles to be powered by electric vehicles by 2030. We're moving forward with electric charging stations. And when it comes to alternative forms of energy, we have over 70 companies in this city that are already focused on carbon capture, utilization, and storage, and clean hydrogen. So we are moving in the right direction, so much so that other places across the globe are taking a look at the city of Houston. It's not by happenstance that I have led been the board chair of the Global Resilient Cities Network for the last 2 years, or chair of the United States Climate Mayors for the last year. It's because what they are seeing taking place in the city of Houston. When it comes to innovation, we don't take a second seat to anyone. And so you see the cannon that is open up in the old Sears building, TXRX in East Houston, the cannon itself, the Ion in the Sears building, the cannon in West Houston. The spaceport is taking off, and Greentown's Labs has expanded from the Boston area now to the city of Houston. And so we are moving in the right direction. Yes, people refer to Silicon Valley, but now they're referring to hashtag Silicon Bayou right here in the city of Houston. When I came into office, I said I didn't want to be the mayor of two cities in one. So we started an initiative called Complete Communities, and that is moving. Between now and the end of next year, an additional 22 neighborhood parks will get a major innovation. They're going through the permitting phase now. Almost in every city council district, we're renovating these parks. The A-Leaf multi-neighborhood center, they've been waiting for that for the last 20 years. This 63,000 square foot state-of-the-art facility will open up in A-Leaf later on in the month of December. In the Sunnyside area, they've been waiting on their multi-service center for quite some time. That 57,000 square foot facility will open up by the end of next year. With regards to our kids and child care, we have partnered with the Bezos Foundation. 4 Bezos Academy early childhood care centers will open up in spring of 2023. Magnolia Park, Manchester, Sunnyside, Denver Harbor, and North Houston. And then when it comes to renewables, that landfill in Sunnyside that's been holding down that community for the last 50 years, 240 contaminated acres. By the first quarter in 2024, if not sooner, that will become the largest urban solar farm in the United States. Bethune Elementary in Acres Home, that closed down. The city of Houston now have entered into an agreement with Aldine for 30 years to turn that into the Bethune Empowerment Center, job training, child care, business incubator. All of these initiatives have been because of the federal dollars that we receive, because of private support, public-private initiatives, and we are only just beginning. With regards to economic development, we continue to break records in our commitment to providing contracting opportunities to minority and women-owned small businesses. Since I took office, the city has awarded over $3.3 billion to MWSBEs. It is a record in Houston's history. And with regards to building a resilient, sustainable, and smart city, we have already appropriated and allocated close to $1 billion, local dollars, which have been spent on drainage and flooding. Over 400 acres have been purchased, or in the process of being purchased, for detention. City Council just passed a resolution today in Councilman Pollitt's district, and Councilman McCaman are next, to enter into negotiations with West University to purchase what we call the Rafino project. That will be a major detention hub once we close out on that particular deal. And FEMA just approved the money for the Inwood Forest Hazard Mitigation Grant Project on the north side. That will hold more water than the Astrodome itself. And then with regards to sustainability, when the lights go off, the power goes off. In every one of our complete communities, we are identifying what we call sustainable community resource hubs, multi-service centers, or libraries, that when the power goes out, the power in these hubs will never go out, such that people in these neighborhoods will always have a place to go to if there's a major power outage, and we're working with Centerpoint and others to make that happen. And then when I came in, the roads were bad. Potholes, potholes, potholes. Well, 7 years later, 96% of the time, we are assessing and addressing those potholes by the next business day. Streets were bad, bad. You couldn't drink a cup of coffee. Since 2020, 548 miles of roadway have undertaken major rehabilitation. And between now and next year, be prepared, a lot of inconvenience, but we do want to have a major makeover on as many of these streets between now and the end of next year. I'll close with this. The first 7 years have been challenging, but they have been rewarding. Someone said, Mayor, I know in 14 months you'll be glad to leave. No, that is not true. I wish there was a COVID exemption that would allow me two more years. Hint, hint to every legislator in Texas. I know a bill can be, introduced. But having said that, let me just say, over the last 7 years, and this year in particular, we have done our best to set the groundwork for whoever shall come after this administration. What I can tell you, next week, the Houston Open will take place at Memorial Park. What I can tell you is that the NCAA Men's Final Four will take place next year in the city of Houston. What I can tell you is in 2026, Houston will host the Men's FIFA World Cup. What I can tell you is the Ismaili Center, the 7th in the world, will open up in the first quarter of 2024. What I can tell you is that Houston Airport Hobby in 2022 is the first and only 5-star airport in North America, one of 17 in the world. And what I can tell you, for 6 of my 7 years, the Astros have gone to the playoffs 3 times in the World Series. They've already won 1, and I promise you they will win a second one in just a few days. This is a great city. Do we have our challenges? Absolutely. Do we have a lot of work to do? Absolutely. But what I can say, God has looked favorably on this city. This is the most diverse city in the United States. The biggest thing that I am proud of is that you can be diverse, separate, segregated, and apart. The question is, can you be diverse and inclusive at the same time? And when I look in this room today, from table to table, from one section to the other, I see the face of Houston. The best for our city is not yesterday. The best for our city has yet to come. And I am proud of the work we have done. Thank you so very much.
Please welcome Tom Cook, former anchor, KTRK ABC 13.
Mayor, we'll have a little conversation today. Hey, smooth sailing on the way down here, not a pothole in sight.
Thank you.
Except for last night's game. Okay. You and I have known each other for a long, long time, since your early days in the legislature.
Yes.
We have talked often about gratitude, how grateful we both are for what we have and where we are in the greatest city in the world. Do you still wake up in the morning and say, I'm the mayor, the 62nd mayor of the greatest city in the country?
Quite frankly, the answer is yes. Every time I am going through, let's say down the Pierce elevator, coming into town from the north side or the south side, and looking at, for example, all the buildings downtown, or driving through the city, all over the city, yeah, I still, in a sense, pinch myself. I mean, who would have thought years ago that a kid who grew up in Acres Home, the north side, the Fofo,
yep.
As you all know, from a mom who was a maid at the Rice Hotel,
right.
Who would have thought that kid would now be the mayor of the city of Houston? But that's the city of Houston,
it is.
And I'm proud of it.
It is. What are you most proud of in your years as mayor of Houston?
You know, it's hard to say is this as mayor or just as a whole?
As a whole, I guess. You've served the public for a long, long time.
Well, I'm proud of the fact 30 years ago, this city looked far different. It was not nearly as diverse as it is today. 30 years later, we are a lot different. We are the face of America. If anybody wants to see what the United States will look like 20 years from now, they need to take a look at the city of Houston. Now, if you ask me the question, what am I most proud of as mayor? The list is fairly long. I'm proud of the pension reforms that we put in place. When we came in, the unfunded liability was $8.2 billion and growing. In the last CAFR of last year, our unfunded liability was down to 1.49. So that's a significant drop. I'm proud of that. I'm proud of our infrastructure projects. For those familiar with the Northeast Water Purification Plant, one of the largest in the world, that's moving forward, and next year will be substantially completed. With regards to the hazard mitigation projects that I talked about, the street improvement projects, the consent decree that this city was under for 10 years for sanitary sewage overflows. We got that resolved. I'm proud of that. So all of the infrastructure projects are key. So I'm real proud of what we've done on that front. Complete communities, invested in neighborhoods where there have been a lack of investments, from A-Leaf to Sunnyside to the East End, North Houston, Acres Home, Cashmere Gardens, Fort Bend, all of those areas. I'm very proud of what's taking place on that front. So it's not any one thing. The sustainability, resilience plan, we faced 7 federally declared disasters, but in February of 2020, we put in place our Resilient Houston plan. On Earth Day, our Climate Action Plan. Those projects are moving at a quick pace. So I'm proud of the sustainability efforts that have taken place. So it's multiple things, innovations. I think we've done collectively. We've done some major things under some challenging times. The city has proven to be resilient, and those things I'm very proud of.
And that's my question. A lot of American cities these days seem frayed at the edges, and yet Houston has gone through hurricanes. We talked about COVID. We talked about the freeze. So many problems we've faced, and yet we seem to have come out on top. Why?
Because we're very resilient. That's one thing. But at the same time, I would think our diversity has been our strength. Okay, we've been able to call on people and groups from all walks of life, and they have stood up. If you make a request, Houstonians will respond. I'll never forget during Hurricane Harvey when we had the 10,000 people at the George R. Brown Convention Center. We had people from all walks of life coming to help out. We had people from the Ismaili community that was there feeding people. We had people from the Hispanic community that was responding. The Asian community was amazing on how they responded. We had people, restaurants from all dimensions that were showing up. Houstonians stood up in a major way. And That's a moment that I'll always remember, because as I walked through the George R. Brown during Hurricane Harvey with 10,000 people there at the convention center, it wasn't like a shelter. It was more or less like a mall where you had the flavor of City of Houston on full display, and people were treating each other with dignity and respect. And so, yeah, we've had our challenges. The storms have come, but the city has proven to be resilient. The other thing I remember is that there was a group of people who came in after Hurricane Harvey, and they wanted to see all the debris. They had heard about 52 inches of water falling, and they knew as they drove through the city of Houston that they would see all the debris on the side of the road. They rented these vans. They started driving through the city of Houston, and then they called and said, you know, where did the storm, where did the water hit? You know, and we said it hit all over. And he said, well, where is the debris and all of that? Well, that was gone. Now, inside people's homes still needed to be repaired. But that was the year in which the Astros went to the World Series, and what they did see were 1 million people lined up throughout the downtown area. That's the city of Houston. We weather the storms well, we rebuild, but we don't necessarily rebuild back. We build towards the future. We build better.
Let's talk politics. Just one question. You're a politician for a long time.
No, I'm not a politician.
Okay. Well, you've served.
I'm a statesman.
That's true. That's true. That's true. And he's grateful for that, too.
All those other politicians out there, you know.
We seem to have reached such a divisive point in this country where, you know, working for the common good and compromise seem to be things of the past. Are you worried about the future, and how do we get out of this? How do we go back together?
And you know, I'm a very, very optimistic person. I would tell you this is the first time that I'm concerned about our country.
Okay.
And very much concerned. The atmosphere is very toxic. The misinformation is just flowing. And it seems as though people have gone to their corners, and nothing is moving anybody. And that's very, very disturbing. It's almost as if I get mine, I don't care what people do. Facts don't matter. When I saw those commercials about Houston having more murders than Chicago, and call people and say that's not true, it just seemed like, yeah. But at the same time, people take information and they run with it. So a lot of misinformation. I am concerned about our democracy. I am concerned about our civility. And I am concerned that if we are not careful, we will engage in a downward spiral. Yeah. And it's gonna get real bad before people realize this is just not good. And not good for our children. Let me talk specifically about the city of Houston. We are the most diverse. Well, let me tell you, as the mayor of this city, it's not easy to keep a diverse city together. You have to work at it. You have to be intentional. You have to be in these different communities because people want to feel as though you are their mayor. And when you are their mayor, you show up at their table, in their home, at their events, you know, listening to their concerns, customizing what you do to fit them. But being the mayor of the entire city, you also are the catalyst holding it together. And that's not an easy thing to do, and it's not one and done. So people ask me all the time, you know, Sylvester, why do you go all of these places? I go to all of these places because they are Houston. And you have to be at their table. Now, let me also say this. When you have a very diverse city, if you allow people to come in and divide it can be very, very bad. So if people put out certain misinformation, pitting one group against another, and if that starts to infiltrate, penetrate, and you create these divisions of one group against another, then a diverse city can be a very destructive city. And it will work against you. And so in this political environment right now where people just want to win at all costs, then you can win, you can gain a temporary victory, but the long-term damage will far exceed 7 federally declared disasters. And it will be very difficult to put a very diverse city back together. That's my concern. And I'm afraid that where we are right now, that people are so committed to their own interests that anything that anybody else does is okay as long as I get mine. That's dangerous, and it's dangerous for our kids because they see and listen to what we do and what we say. So it may be all right for those of us who are adults, but what I would ask people to remember, when you do engage in those things or allow it to take place, think about these children. And then lastly, when good people stay quiet, when good people don't stand up, then those who are perpetuating these divisions, misinformation, they prevail, and then we all suffer. And so my hope is that the good people who know right from wrong, good from evil, facts from misrepresentations, that the good people will stand up and reclaim your position, and then we'll have a better city, a better state, and a better country.
You've got 14 months left. All right, other than guaranteeing an Astros win, what do you want to accomplish? What's on your mind?
You know, I've had time to reflect on a number of things. We've gone through a great deal of the city, 7 federally declared disasters. I would tell you, it has been the greatest joy. I've also, had my own personal medical situation. For all of my life, I've been the healthiest ever. And you deal with 7 federally declared disasters. I go to the dentist to get a root canal. On my way to France with the trade mission, and doctors come and say, a little bit better, a little bit more than a root canal. I say, what is it? We got to go and test you out a little bit. And so I go and get a biopsy. And just before I was getting ready to go, doctor said, I don't think you're not going to make this trip. Okay. And then the next thing I know, a week later, I'm in the hospital, 9 hours of surgery, and they discovered what they call osteosarcoma right there in my jaw area. And this was on July the 30th, in surgery for 9 hours, where they are doctors working up here, doctors working on my leg to replace the bone right up here. They're having to take bone from my leg and to restructure. In the hospital for 8 days. Went through radiation for 6 weeks. Every single morning, Monday through Friday, 7:30. August the 1st through September the 12th. Back at City Council that day. Continued to do what I needed to do in the city of Houston. Let me tell you, I have been blessed. I have been blessed. And so, as I look at the 7 federally declared disasters, and then I look at what I've had to endure myself, and then, you bounce back. What I would say to you, this is an incredible city. And as long as we stay strong, be mindful, hold on to our faith, and go forward, the best is yet to come. It has been and continues to be an incredible journey. We have some of the best hospitals in this country. I can personally attest to it. And then to come through all of that, to go to Japan, be a part of the trade mission, continue to do everything that we've done, it's just been remarkable. Now, what I'll do 14 months after that, I don't.
That's my next question. What do you want me to say? I'm retired. You want me to save you a rocking chair or?
No, I don't want a rocking chair. No.
No, that's not you, and that's not me either. So you're writing a book. You want to write a book, right?
I'm writing two.
Two. All right.
Writing two. One deals with the people, the circumstances, the events that help to evolve my thinking. And it goes from childhood up until the last day of the legislative session.
Okay.
And then I cut off on the last day in the legislature. The second one is leadership under major crisis. And that's one that specifically just focuses on my time as mayor. You know, and it's kind of funny as I finish the outline on that, you know, I think the good Lord said, okay, you're writing about everything involving the city, and that's fine. But let's punctuate it with your own personal story, okay? And then sometimes it's easy to deal with other things.
Yes.
But when it's dealing with yourself, do you still have the same passion and the same desire and the fire? So you have to be tested, okay? So that will punctuate the second one, and then we'll see. But 14 months is a long way off. What I've said to my team is that we've got a lot of work to do. There are a lot of boxes we need to check. There's a number of projects we've started that I want us to complete. And people at City Hall will know I'm always asking, is this going to be done by December 31st of 2023? And what I can tell you on December 31st of 2023, that they will be carrying me out in my chair while I'm still signing, you know, executive orders for the next mayor either to tear up or to undo.
Can I get video of that?
Yeah, you know, but I intend, I promise you, you hired me for 8 years, and I promise you, you will have me on the job for the full 8 years. Tomorrow will take care of itself.
Okay. You're a leader. You are a statesman. Another office? A higher office?
I don't know. If you ask me one week, I may say yes. If you ask me another week, I'll say, I don't know, no. I literally don't know.
Okay.
You know, I wanted to be mayor for such a long time. You know, the reality is, I got the best gig that one could have, with the challenges and all. And truly speaking, if I could run again, I would run again. Okay. So this is. I mean, how often do you get to be the mayor of the city in which you were born and reared, and then, you know, still living in the hood? Yeah. And then the greatest thrill is when I return back to my neighborhood. I mean, you know, it's the kid who made good, you know.
And there's that gratitude that you and I talked about so often. Where does that come from?
The gratitude is that, you know, my mom and dad always say, if you're not grateful, then you're sinful. And their thought was, number one, nobody has to do anything for you.
True.
I mean, that's number one. You know, Cindy, Elizabeth, Houston, you know, nobody has to do anything for you. So that's number one. So when people do something for you, then you ought to be grateful. When opportunities are made available for you, you ought to be grateful. No one had to vote for me for mayor. Well, for 2 times they didn't.
Had to bring that up.
I had a flashback, you know. I was just going strong, and then I reflected back, you know. But let me just say this.
All right.
But even that was a part of the divine plan. It just was not my time. I strongly believe God orchestrated this moment. my time. 7 disasters, yes. COVID, yes. Monkeypox, yes. Winter Storm Uri, yes. But at the same time, we've done a whole lot. Resilience, climate, sustainability, innovations, complete communities, even the public safety issues. The appointments of many of people or directors for the first time. That was this time. The kids that are growing up. I think it's important for this younger generation to see people like myself where I am at this point in time. Tough, yes. But this is the time. And you can either be on the bench and the game is tight, the final seconds are coming down, and for some on the bench, they move further away from the coach because they don't want to be called on. Mm-hmm. And then there are some who are constantly looking at the coach saying, put me in. Put me in. I want to play. I'm fortunate that I've always wanted to play. I don't want to be on the sideline. And so in this city, and it is a great city, you want to play. And I'm looking at 1,600 people in this city and thousands of others who want to play, who are saying, put me in, call on me, I'm in. So this is an incredible moment. In spite of the toxicity, this is an incredible moment in which to be a Houstonian and to make a huge, huge difference. So I'm glad people didn't put me in 91,
yeah,
in 2003, but they said yes in 2015.
Mayor, congratulations and thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
And we are all praying for you. Ladies and gentlemen, Sylvester
Thanks
Turner,
very much.
the greatest mayor in the greatest city in the world.
Thank you, man.
Oh, thank you, man. You are